there's potentially going to be some people right now that listen to this that are not in that best headspace, or they do not have a healthy work-life balance.
Yeah.
What steps could they take to improve either their headspace or their work-life balance that they have at the moment?
I've got loads. I mean, I think there are so many simple things that you can do. I mean, there's a guy. So I'm really into my motorbike. So I'll give you an example of one thing that someone does that I think is so clever. Really into my motorbike. There's a YouTube channel called 44 Teeth, and there's a guy called Chris Eads who's a part of that. Lives not far from here in Hampshire, and he struggles with mental health, and he started this thing called Permission to Talk, and talk as in engine talks. That's kind of play on words, but Permission to Talk. He started this thing which he made these stickers and gave them away for free, just so petrol heads, bikers probably, can get one of these stickers for free, stick it on the bike, and it's just like, I understand we all have our challenges, particularly blokes. We all have our challenges, and it's okay to admit you have, and you have permission to ask me if I'm okay, all that kind of stuff. And he started something. He started an Instagram channel where he was going to walk every day, and he would do a live stream talking to camera on Instagram every morning.
Love it.
And for him, I think it's as much the commitment. It's communicating to the world that everyone has their challenges. But he said numerous times, just a walk. I mean, when you're feeling really, he said, he's feeling really crappy. He don't want to get out of bed in the morning. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. You can guarantee, you go for a walk for half an hour. After a half hour, I would be amazed, unless something really bad happens on the walk, that you would not feel better at the end of that walk. And you don't need anything apart from a pair of shoes. Go bare feet if you haven't got shoes. Do you know what I mean? There is nothing really stopping people from doing that. So I think that is a really simple thing. I think that change of environment. Like if you're really struggling with something, change where you are, change your state in some way. Go to a different place, whether it's out in the garden or just down the road, or go to the post box and post a letter or whatever. Just change that. I think gratitude is another big one. We talked about that. I used to keep a gratitude diary. So every night before I went to bed, and through the winters, I used to suffer really badly with SAD, with seasonal affective disorder. Yeah. Through the winters, I would write a gratitude diary, and I would write 3 good things that happened today, 3 things I'm grateful for, and one thing I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So I would go to bed, hopefully, in a positive mind about tomorrow. Some days, it was so stupid. The things I was writing, I was really having to dig deep to find good things, But just the process of doing that, it's such a good process to go through, and it makes you realise, what have I got to be fed up about? I mean, we all have our challenges, and life isn't always great. But really, it's worth remembering we've got more than we need of most things.
Yeah, I've obviously just returned myself from Africa, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and seeing how some of the Maasai live and things like that was just unbelievable. So coming back to this like comfy home, and I've got my own office and apartment, and all these things. It's like, okay, I've got a lot to be grateful for. You mentioned then SAD. Are you open just to talking about that a little bit more?
Yeah.
So one, can you just explain what it is? Because it's extremely common, and I don't think it's actually talked about enough, especially for us here in the UK with the weather fluctuations that we have. Yeah. Can you just give an insight into what SAD is, and then really just a little bit more about some of your experience with it?
Yeah. So it stands for seasonal affective disorder. Obviously, in the UK, we have quite extreme light variation. So in the summer, we at the moment, or the month's just gone, I've hardly seen the darkness. Literally, you go to bed. If you go to bed at 10:30, it's still more or less light in the sky, and you wake up, it gets lighter like 4:45 or something. So you don't really see darkness for a period, and then through the winter, particularly if you have a dark grey day, it's like you don't really see daylight. I mean, it might. Yes, it's daylight through between like maybe 8:30 and 3:30, but if it's a grey day, there ain't much light around. And that for some people, that can really affect them, and it did me for a long time. And I used to. The weird thing was, I used to get it with changing light, not lack of light. So spring and autumn and spring, strangely, when the light was increasing, it still would do things with my body that gave me, depression and anxiety, and all of those things. So for me, a lot of the techniques that I've mentioned, I put into place, and I think maybe some of that's why I value that so highly and focus so much on on lifestyle and being happy rather than make it, because ultimately when you die, you ain't going to take it with you, are you? You know, some of the things that helped me, Lightbox really helped. So on those dark days on my desk, I usually have it there, and it's just shining in your face, and it just gives you that boost like the sun does. They're pretty good. A lot of the techniques that we talked about, exercise, you know, obviously good nutrition,
fundamentals,
fundamentals,
good health. I hope that you have enjoyed this content, and if you've got value from it, please do help me in supporting the channel by hitting subscribe down below. I look forward to sharing more content with you soon. Take care.